A warm welcome and sorry. Good morning and welcome to Enterprise Morning. This is Enterprise Television, reaching you from the economic capital of Nigeria, Lagos. I am Henry Igwibike. In a bit, we'll be heading straight to our newspaper headlines to see all that we have for you this morning. Very juicy stories, if you ask me. And then right after that will be our main conversation also for today. But please do well to visit us to see more on this at enterprisetvnews.com. You may like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. In the studio with us to do justice to our newspaper headlines is Cyril Abaku, journalist and public affairs analyst. Good morning, Cyril, and welcome.
Thank you, Henry.
Thank you. All right, so let's kickstart today with a very interesting story, actually. It's a developing one, which we have discussed quite some time here, and it's about Bobrisky hinting that he would not be coming to back to Nigeria anytime soon. And I have it exclusively that popular Nigerian crossdresser Idris Okoneye, better known as Bobrisky, has hinted at never returning to the country. The the socialite left Nigeria on November 11 after his face off with the Economic Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and immigration officers. He shared photos on his IG page yesterday, and someone asked him to return home, and he said he would not want to do that. Cyril Abaku, I do not know of what significance is this, even in the first place. But frankly speaking, anything about Bobrisky seems to, there's this magic around it. You post it and the views are all over the place. What significance is this? This is just an ordinary Nigerian, an average Nigerian who decides to travel out and says he's not coming back.
Anybody who has money in his hands, as we've now come to know by light of financial intelligence, is that what you seek to do is to multiply that money, not just to consume it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the people say that the toad or the frog does not run in the day for nothing. It is after something is after it. So when Bobrisky is in the news, he is not in the news for nothing.
Exactly.
There's a reason he's in
the news. Very magical.
But for the nuisance value of him, which is how I want to look at it, the reality is that at this phase of his life, he typifies what a lot of Nigerians have sadly come to realize or come to face, which is you love a country that appears to have no love saved anywhere for you. You will work, you will toil, you will give it everything you have. Let's face it. For all his antics, Bobrisky isn't somebody that should even be talked about, because for me, he does not stand. He doesn't mirror the sort of values that should embody society.
Definitely.
But I cannot also sit back and endorse the way another Nigeria treated him.
Okay.
And eventually, if he left Nigeria, he shouldn't have left. If he was a person of interest, as they said, they caught him as a brother and brought him back. They caught him on the plane. So when he finally left, who gave the authorization?
But there was nothing against him, so he had to.
Well, again, so this is the controversy. How was there nothing against? They picked him at the semi-border. They wrote and said he was a person of interest,
which of course wasn't defined.
Well, good. So was it that he was now a toy that everybody else just wanted to throw around and play with? But he's a citizen. If you didn't like what anything he was doing, charge him to court, do something. But you don't just you see him at the border, throw him back. See him at the airport, throw him back. Then he went back to fly, and it was okay for him to fly away. He was taken to a lockdown and put in a cell. He was even put in the female section. Later on, we were told that it was put there because it was empty and free. Okay, good. Then you now put him in. From there, he said he was having pains or ache. He was taken to hospital. The next thing we saw was that he was at the airport before he was thrown. So what was really going on? It looks to me that arguably somebody in the state had a grasp to settle with him and was using state paraphernalia or state apparatus to fight him. To what end? That is the problem. And I think that whatever is done to Bobrisky or any other person is the same fate awaits every other person if nothing is done about it. But this is the reason we must have a discussion.
Yes.
If you didn't like him for his work as a gender bender, okay, they will have laws that that could address that.
Yes, because
Clearly, there are no laws.
yeah, because that's actually what I think that we should have this conversation on the LGBTQ issue in Nigeria. We are more like ostriches that hide their head right there beneath the sand, but the whole of our body is quite exposed. When it comes to LGBTQ, our constitution, of course, opposes it, but our action towards it is really not here, not there, unlike Ghana, unlike other countries that are very strict on it. So how do you think the international community, of course, who are in support of us economically, would see us really when our constitution is saying something else, but the society itself,
body language,
yeah, is opposing it?
I always say that leadership or governance isn't just based on laws. There is, which is basically what management does, laws. But it's something called leadership, which has to do with empathy, understanding, and our people, the people who are in government, imagine how they behave even when there's law. How much more if there was no law? What would they have done? Even when you have laws, there are ways in which they circumvent the law.
Who exactly? Who are
leadership?
Okay.
Leadership. They will bend the laws and do all kinds of things. But so how much more when there was no law? Look at Bobrisky. Even if there was no law against, because it's two things.
Yes.
I don't know if it is proven that he was homosexual. I don't know if it was proven.
It wasn't, but everything around him and about him shows.
He himself made commentary to the effect of saying he was actually homosexual. They didn't pick him up on that. They didn't arrest him on that. That was the only time I heard was that he was organizing a gay party, and then police went and chased them. You don't go and chase them. You arrest. You prosecute. That's what you're supposed to do. But leadership, like I told you, is as if they were enjoying the theater until somebody felt offended enough from the VIP section and said, okay, I'll use this against you. That is what you condemn. That is what you don't like. And frankly speaking, I don't think anybody left Nigeria in the way he left Nigeria will want to come back and do what? To face hell. We need to ask some questions. When he was in prison because of money, he was paying
money laundering and
no, well,
and yes,
that one was dropped.
Yeah.
It was purely about spraying money. Bobrisky had access to VIP treatment. He was put in a special room. He was given television. He was treated like he was living on Banana Island in prison. And Nigeria does not have any mind to address those issues because the committee report has been released. So what exactly are we? The man feels like he just jumped out of water and he will never go back into it. Nigeria, it is high time we start back to define what our moral boundaries are. And at that point, the law must take effect.
Now, while we try to define what our moral boundaries are, he is in a society, of course, that accepts such kind of character, that accepts whatever he believes in. Such societies, of course, accept it. And with the large pool of followings that he has, don't you think this would further exacerbate the situation back home in Nigeria amongst his followers who would love to be like him, to do what he does, with the hope that they would equally get the sort of treatment that they would want to in other parts of the world?
Freedom is innate to mankind. There's nobody can give you freedom. It is yours. Somebody could limit it, but freedom is freedom, no matter, and humans still cry for freedom anywhere it is. Now, what I would say is this: the government had better be serious. Bobrisky wasn't the only person who was openly showing off very immoral things, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, right. Government ought to be able to, even where necessary, creatively apply the law. If you pick them up, pick one, pick two, pick three, pick four, I can assure you that before anybody comes out to say he wants to either mislead people, you saw when somebody brought a revolution of sagging. And I said, even people who should know better, their parents began to complain and cry out. So why do we then have government? It is the government must sit up and do its work.
But given the implication that might have on the economy, on governance, on support for political class, don't you think it could be a problem?
Okay, now let me explain this thing. If as a society we come to terms with what our national values are and where we are headed as a country, it is not too difficult to ask for. I hope you know that Netanyahu, for example, is celebrating Trump's win over and above whatever the Democrats. In fact, during Obama's re-election, Netanyahu came to America to campaign in America against Obama. He did it. What does that tell you? The Israeli government, or let's even say the Israeli right wing, right, understands its affiliation with the Republican Party.
Yeah.
It does. Fair and good. In Nigeria also, a lot of these people that come and give you money and say, we want to give you aid, but you will need to open a hospital for gay people, don't judge them, allow them to travel and so good. The government must decide what its values are and know which international donors to go for. And know which so given Nigeria's population in America, which is quite sizable, right?
Yeah, very well.
Even if you are a Nigerian diaspora and you have the right to vote in America, you know who not to vote for. Because your values from home will influence your values abroad. But we're not even doing this kind of linkage as a country. How's the area the money will come from? Let it come because you're going to steal it in the end. So if you have your values cut out, this thing is not difficult to do. But at least let our voice be heard that as a country we stand for X. They know where to take their monies to. Have you seen the so-called Samoa agreement?
The Samoa agreement.
Good. Now, some countries signed up on it, right? The countries, they know that deal was basically them talking down to the underprivileged countries. They don't do that even to middle countries. They won't do it.
Yeah, very well.
They won't do it. At least you have the lower powers, the middle powers, and they don't even the middle powers. They know the ones they go to, and it is terms for terms. It's not about take this and give it. So look at Malaysia. Singapore. You take in Singapore when they catch even German sorry, I put them on trial. If you convicted, they flog them. They say lie down. German citizen. They carry cane and whip it very well. Yet it's a German. So this is the thing. If you won't define what you want to do as a country, look at other national grid. We are still when by now we should have commissioned somebody. You get what I mean?
Very well.
We have stolen even in the past when enough money has been wasted that could have been used to build 7 grids. 7 grids. Tell the governors if you won't build, I will build for you, but I'll take the money back. Sign. But all this creative, the energy we've used to put the bodies out of Nigeria, whether I like it or not, it's secondary.
Yeah.
Well, couldn't have used to do something else?
Very well said.
But the last point on this question is this: if we stopped it from Senator Border and pushed him off a plane, on what terms did the charges go away? Did the way Bobrisky die? Did the new one resurrect? How did they not travel out of the country? How?
We might not.
Who paid who?
Yeah, we might not get all of those facts.
Did he cut a deal?
Yeah. But looking at our laws and judiciary and courts and so on, and maybe they must have appealed on that, and maybe granted opportunity to.
It's not for me to say,
exactly.
But that they're even even us to be pressing this thing.
Yeah. It's
a problem.
Very true.
How is somebody? Did you see when the lady asked him on Instagram and say, "We miss you"? Come and say, "God forbid." He didn't say more than that. So we have learned his lesson.
Very true. All right, so let's move on to the next daily here, coming from the Daily Trust newspaper. And the big story here is FCT houses for judges. Falana counters Wike, insists action unconstitutional, says gesture embarrassment to the judiciary. We did it to protect judges. That's coming from the ministers. And also on the bottom strip here, World Diabetes Day. Patients are dying, weighed down by high cost of medications. We spend over 80,000 naira on drugs every month. Experts task government on cheaper treatment policies. And also on the top strip of the same newspaper, gunmen attack army checkpoint in Abia, killed 2 soldiers. Antinipo mining sector reforms is drawing global attention. Lakurawa members flee Kemi as troops intensify onslaught. Cyril Abago, let's take a look at health. Patients dying, weighed down by high cost of medication, and today's World Diabetes Day. Now, this is one issue that's it's cutting across. It's cutting across the different personalities in Nigeria. The cost of taking care of that is becoming very exorbitant, and the government is not helping matters. What do you think a sane society can do to take care of this?
Let me tell you, a sane African society. Did you hear recently that at Buckingham Palace, the youth helps to treat that are using herbs to treat the king?
Really? of
King Charles, yes. That were using herbs to treat him. See what we do. This will be like an argument against myself, because all my life I have had to relate with the medical world. So my friends, don't be offended. What I'm going to say is we can look at what our friends in Madagascar did during COVID.
Yeah.
The people said this thing is Dogonyaro.
But it wasn't effective. Let's not.
No, 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 no.
Because the social media has a way of flagging some of these things
Doctor, Doctor,
if the
Jojo
facts are not correct.
Okupe is a
Yes.
medical doctor.
Yeah.
He talked of it, what he did himself, and how he took. In fact, he wrote after he survived. He wrote on it how he did his own concoction. It was not dolutegravir and stuff that he took. It was the normal. It was something like that, black seed and stuff like that, which the governor of Oyo State was also advocating. Even if we didn't buy it, because this is lack standardization, and they're never sincere. They tell you this one will cure everything. It will cure. They bring one cup. There's no dosage. There's no cost. Nothing. They just. But where I'm going is the government can quietly call our taxonomists and research people and say, what can we do? It doesn't have to be a standardized stuff, but there can be stuff like restaurants or place where health. I don't know. You can call it a name. Don't look at me like that. In China, how did they deal with COVID? Where it originated from? It was herbs. In fact, because China was heavily funding WHO, they made the WHO not to criticize them. I know the story very well. They shut them out up and told them that they should. In fact, normally COVID should have been called the Wuhan virus, because every virus is named after the place it came from. But China was giving the WHO so much money that they had to call it COVID instead of Wuhan virus. That was why Trump said that thing is Wuhan virus, not coronavirus. But they shut him out and said, well, I'm just telling Lassa fever. What's Lassa? Lassa is a town in Nigeria where it came from. Yes, now Lassa fever is a disease that came from Nigeria. That Lassa, I think, is in Borno or one of those northern states. Lassa, you know, is a disease after the place it came from, or after the person who founded it, like say Parkinson's or something like that. Crohn's. Yes, the Wuhan virus was. China was paying WHO, so they use herbs. They carry water, heal it, put other kinds of things. Their cure rate was faster than any other part of the world. Now, we can simply do this, okay, and say, let's look at herbs that can help deal with diabetes. Because let me tell you, if you want to keep spending 80,000 naira and 100,000 naira per month, should anybody stop you? No. But one, the money is a lot. People are dying. So to say that we should rule out alternatives entirely, I don't think maybe the best option.
But don't you think instead of doing a trial by error, a method of curating for ailments, which of course we know is very fragile, the two patients with the same issue might have different side effects for whatever it is they take. Don't you think it's better for the government really to maybe subsidize some of these drugs? There are lots of issues in health that the government has subsidized. So don't you think it's good enough for the government to better do this as a good solution?
I agree with you. It's an option, right?
Yes.
They can subsidize it. If they did, why not? But the wisdom because a lot of these drug makers have left Nigeria. They've walked away. So the French drug makers and British drug makers and they've mostly gone. It is difficult. You see, the thing is, some of these drugs are now being sold because the sellers are sure that there's a buyer that must come next month. The drugs for that are diabetes are not like analgesics that you can just walk in buy for command. Yeah. So if they're not sure somebody buying, they won't even bring it into the country. So it is extremely high. Then the second thing is, in the Federal Ministry of Health, there are departments that take care of research and even medical. So you see the point I'm saying. They can be allowed to be there. Say, if you want to try that out, you can get people to standardize to say, okay, for this one you must have certain elements in it together and keep it. If anybody wants to try, let them try. It's harmless. But for us to rule out that entirely, because I know that people are dying. The people are they can no longer afford treatment. They are dying. So they say that nothing should be done. Well, I don't know, but they are dying. I'm telling the truth.
All right, so
Something has to be done about it.
very, very well. But let's take a look at finally the Punch newspaper for today. A big story: government pull Shatima APC bigwig storm on Do PDP campaign for Ajayi, and also on the bottom strip here, missing man found dead near Ogun Stream, and also Webelo fires permanent secretary to also boards ATMs empty as banks ration withdrawals, and also on the very top strip here, local hour killings, survivors recount horror attack, DHQ deploy more troops to the region. Cyril, let's talk about ATMs. I know we've spoken about this a couple of times, but I think since it's making the front page of the Punch newspaper, I think it's still very important we talk about it. There are more POS centers than even the number of people who are collecting the money itself. And this is a cause for worry. In other parts of the world, other developed and developing economies, ATMs are actually meant to help people collect money without necessarily paying through their nose to get that done. In Nigeria, it's the opposite of the case. Are we truly moving forward when it comes to technology such as this?
We are not now. But technology is not to blame.
Okay, what exactly?
The money. They say banks are rationing.
Yes.
So there's no money.
But monies are found in the POS. Any amount you want is there. Once you can pay the charges required.
My brother, our country is a place of I changed it. The less you look, the more you actually see. The more you don't want to be, you just want to keep yourself sane and look away, the more things are thrown at you. This thing is not new. We've discussed it here before.
Yeah, very well.
That convert the ATM to other things, the ATMs to other things. But this may be that it is not happening by error. It may be happening by design.
Okay.
To enable the ATMs, the POS operators breathe and make money. Because it's a business. The ATM is impersonal. It's not a business. If you make the POS operators, if government is reckoning them to be a buffer of employment, then
Yeah.
so that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
It ties back into the other thing I was talking. You can quietly do something about people that can't afford drugs. If they want to turn a blind eye to everything they are seeing, it will not be correct. They know what they are doing there. The ATMs, because people are in employment.
Yeah.
So please leave them to
Millions of people.
so
just giving one
that's the
yes. One technology for another.
That's what they are doing. Because if they didn't do that, do you know how many people be thrown out of
very well.
Even the apps that are not working, sometimes you wonder, is there a monkey's hand in? But you never know what's really going on. I'm telling you, in the name of what's it called, system upgrade that they now do every month. Is that even is that even a healthy practice?
Exactly.
It could never be.
Very true.
But something is going on that and I just hope that, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I hope that whatever is happening in the end turns out for the good of Nigerians.
Yeah.
Because we are increasingly not even being able to have the right information to question the system and to check what is. It is our duty to check and balance them.
Yeah.
But when with the level of opacity that we are seeing, it becomes more increasingly difficult to be informed. Without an informed citizenry, it is difficult to practice democracy. That's the truth. But now you see, we are having to guess and think and forecast and permutate, which it really shouldn't be. Yes.
Very, very sad. Truly very, very sad. Well, this is not peculiar to us in other parts of the world. Germany, for example, is the sixth largest economy in the world, but the bureaucracy, just opening a bank account in Germany is hell. You need to go through so much filling of papers, hard copies, that is, to do that. Well, every country with its own challenge. Well, that's about the size of our package for this particular segment. I'd love to say thank you, Cyril Abaku, for being part of it.
A pleasure.
We do appreciate your time. When we return, presidential spokesman Dada Olusegun rubbishes allegations of President Tinubu being a CIA agent. But come on, to even think of this. Stay with us, it's still Enterprise Television. Please don't go anywhere.